Hey everybody, this is Renae Lipsmeyer from The Space Between, and you're listening to The Space Between podcast, the show that lets you listen to how the fans feel about the music, the art behind 31 years of the Dave Matthews Band. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Space Between. I am excited to have Al today as my guest. Al Henschel, who lives in, what part of Wisconsin do you live in, Al? I can never remember.
South of Green Bay, about a half hour.
Green Bay area.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for offering up to be on my podcast. You are someone that I met through Facebook, as I think a lot of people have. It started with, I don't know if it started with these, but it's kind of been these are my favorite. Everyone, like when you go to a concert, you see these no matter what venue you're at. Al makes these. He's in charge of all the sunglasses that you've seen at concerts, and we'll get him to talk about that later. But that is how I met Al. And then, of course, I got to meet Al the very first time in Denver, 2019, I believe, just shortly. And so, of course, just as time has gone on, we've got to watch him get married and have a baby and do all this fun stuff. And so it's been cool to watch you grow and keep doing some fun things. So thank you again for being on this show today. Al, introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, first off, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm Al. Just got married. I am from Wisconsin, but I just love to travel. So I'm always trying to find a new venue or someplace to hike. That entails trying to go to a show, but maybe include some hike.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
When my wife and I got married, I made sure that she was into both Dave and the outdoors as well.
Prerequisites.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe she doesn't go to as many shows as we do, but
She loves it.
she'll still go, which counts.
Totally understand that. My husband is the same way. Like he
Yeah.
likes it. He likes that it makes me happy, but he has no interest in going to every single concert.
Right. Like the idea of how can three shows in one weekend be different? You need to go.
That's right. Can't judge it till you've done
Right.
it.
Yeah, so we got married and had our baby girl in July, which horrible timing in the sense of Dave Matthews Band summer tour in the Midwest, because it's always Alpine, Chicago, even Indianapolis, depending on what the dates are. But we'll be going to Deer Creek this year.
I'm excited. I will. My fingers are crossed to be there. It's in my plans, so I hope to be there. Now, are you bringing the baby this year, or are you getting a babysitter?
Nope. It's actually going to be my cousin and
Okay,
I.
gotcha.
So, my wife will stay home unless I can get her to go to the Milwaukee Summerfest show, because her parents are actually from Milwaukee.
Okay,
So we have a
and
babysitter.
a place to stay, which is awesome.
Correct.
That is awesome. That makes it a whole lot more helpful. Babysitter and a place to stay.
Yeah. I'm excited to get back to Deer Creek too, 'cause I absolutely love that venue.
How far of a drive is it
You know,
for you to go to Deer Creek?
5.5.
That's not too bad. It's not too bad.
No, I mean, we lose that hour.
Yes.
So trying to get there, you gotta drive fast that Friday. But
This is my first time to drive
it's
to Deer
it's
Creek
okay.
this year, and I guess I will be similar because I guess I'll cross over into a different So I'm glad you said that because I'll need to remember that you cross into Eastern when you head that way, which I did not realize until right now, until I was there last time. And I don't know, all the time zone stuff, it can get tricky, but nothing is worse than like California. I think that's the hardest trip is to go backwards and then forwards really quickly. It's tough, but very worth it. And we're seasoned travelers, so we can do it. It's just hard in the beginning. So tell me, Al, like, what led you to the Dave Matthews Band? How long have you been a fan? And like, what keeps you tied to the band? Like, what is it about the band and the family behind the band that still has you after the band has been out for 32 years now?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, we were all over the place. Um, the older kids always listen to the hippie stuff, jam bands, but I was still kind of into grunge. And then as I got into junior, senior year, it became Dave, Cheese Incident, um, the Allman Brothers, more classics. Um, and then going to shows with friends, having Alpine Valley only like 25 minutes from where I went to college. So having that ability right there was like, all right, we're going to always go. Um, and and then with my cousin, um, while I was in college, is when my cousin happened to get hurt, and his family being really big into music, his dad being a drummer, um, actually was at the show. He was at the show that Stevie Ray Vaughan passed away at
Wow.
Alpine that night.
Wow.
So hearing all about that,
Yeah.
um, but he became, because I worked with him on side
Mm-hmm.
jobs, and he became my like tutor in a sense of learning about music, um, and all these different bands that he came up with, or not came up with, but he got into.
Right.
Um, it was it was pretty amazing because after my cousin's accident, it became like, um, where I was only his cousin beforehand, seeing him twice a year, to being a best friend, making sure that my family member was having the best time he could, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
and finding out in the process that he really enjoyed the same things as I did.
That's awesome.
One being Dave Matthews Band, um, and over the course of time, we've actually seen them together over 70, 80 times, something like
That's
that.
wild.
Yeah, I've just really fortunate on having that connection with a family member like that,
Absolutely.
because not everybody does,
No.
But to this day, we'll be going. It started with Alpine though, just because it was
Sure.
close, and you know, at Alpine they have that ADA section, and it's a big section. And to be honest, there happened to be 20 people, 20 groups, I should
Mm-hmm.
say. So maybe even close to 30 people, 40 people. And they came back year after year. So when I say the Alpine group, it was like a family. We really felt that for the first time. Every year, all these different disabilities and things that these people went through or still going through,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned all about it. And we became best friends with a lot of people. Um, I'm not going to mention names because I'm afraid I will forget
Yes,
one.
no worries. You know who you are.
But right, and they don't live just by me.
Right.
They live all
Right.
over. Um, yeah, and after that, it just started blooming into where can we go next?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be just as cool venues in different places. And you'd always hear somebody say, "Oh, Deer Creek's pretty cool. Oh, the Gorge."
Absolutely.
So
what was the second step for you
we've
guys? So after you conquered Alpine, what was the second step for you guys?
Deer Creek.
Deer Creek. Okay.
It was Deer Creek, yeah. And then, if the band didn't play at Alpine Valley, they tried Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember 2011 was the Caravan. Chicago was in Englewood, which is south side. It was an old steel mill. They wanted to, give money to that area to try to help it out. And yeah, that's where we experienced what my cousin had to go through with different venues.
Tell us about that.
Which we didn't know
Tell us about that. So just give our listeners, if they don't know your cousin or if they don't know your story, give us just a little background at what you're talking about when you when you say handicap, because that can be so many different things. What specifically were his needs?
Well, first off, he can drive, but he definitely needs to be able to wheel around.
So he's in a wheelchair full time. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Full time. And when we got all the information from the Dave Matthews Band about the Caravan, it was, stay downtown Chicago. We will take the bus or the train down couple miles or whatnot to the exit where the buses would take us down to the venue. Mm-hmm. And that one exit didn't have elevator to get up to the road, the level of the road. And there was 20 or 30 steps. It wasn't happening.
Nope.
So we actually had to take the train back about a mile and then just walk through the city streets, to get to that venue where we've never been before. Right. When we got to the venue, it was a little tough as well because a lot of wood chips, and it's an old steel mill that was ripped down. So, there's some roads per se, but most of it was just overgrown stuff that I think Dave called it like moon rocks. Just big rocks, in different areas that you just had to watch out for. But that was my first real oh man, how is my cousin going to do this?
So did you make it to the concert? Did he make all the way in?
Yeah, we got in through different workers that we had to take numerous golf carts to kind of get to, the venue that we wanted to be at right away. But there was old roads through that steel mill. So we kind of just stayed close to that. Mm-hmm. So we could always find, a golf cart and move around. And it was a cool time. Dave and his kids took one of our golf carts when we were waiting for it, and they pulled up, and then Dave and his kids walked out from the other side of the fence, and we were like, "Oh, hey,
that's cool."
So, yeah, but yeah, it was tough to begin with. There's hurdles wherever you go.
Sure.
But obviously, if needed, I'm always there. Whether, hey, we got hills, we need to push you up.
Now, has he been to a concert without you?
Yeah, it's changed. Yes.
He has.
Yes.
And how does he have someone there with him, or is he feeling more confident now in being able to do it alone?
I think he's pretty confident because he's gone to a lot of shows, not just Dave.
Sure.
Just a lot of, we got a lot of music in the area. So yeah, he's pretty comfortable.
I'm glad.
Even if he falls off his wheelchair, he laughs about it, and I'm what's going on?
Hopefully that doesn't happen that often.
He did it at the Dave show in Chicago.
Was he
once.
Too busy dancing?
He was.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What a way to go. Happens to us all.
What a way to fall out of a chair. Just I lost myself.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it happens to us all. We get lost in the music and you don't know where your foot
That's
is,
that's
you
right.
know, the next step.
Oh my goodness. Well, tell me what 2023 looks like for you. Do you have some plans for this year, or are you kind of just figuring it out as we go through tour season?
Ooh, you know, I I took a trip to Jacksonville last year before my daughter was born. Um, I got the okay to go, and I took full advantage. If anybody gets to go to Jacksonville, it's 5,500 people at Daly's, so it's a small venue.
Wow.
It's a beautiful venue. Um, it was a really nice time. And this year though, I'm doing Deer Creek,
Yes.
but I'm gonna have to lay off pretty much every other one. I might do Milwaukee, the Summerfest show.
Yeah.
Um, but I am a full dad. Like,
No, as you
I
should be.
absolutely love my daughter and watching her every single day, and
Absolutely.
it's hard to get
It
away.
goes so fast. Just speaking from experience, my kids
Right,
are way older, and so that time where they're just so little and they just love you so much, it's beautiful. So just
hmm
enjoy every second. Dave
right,
Matthews will be around hopefully for a very long time, but she will be little just for just a little
right.
bit of time. And so yes, yes, full-time daddy, absolutely.
Right. And we're only having one and this one. And to like get her into music already, and we're always being goofy and dancing around, and just watching her is amazing because she does dance and sing and don't know what we're
That's
saying, but
right.
it sounds great to me,
I've always believed that
you know.
dancing is something that is born inside of you, because even small children who have never witnessed dancing will like move to a beat or something just automatically.
Oh,
So I think that dancing, I don't know how anyone could say it's wrong, right? Like it's just, I mean,
right,
even people think it's cute when babies do it. So I love
right.
that part when they're dancing and they're little in any little beat, they're just so excited.
Oh yeah. I mean, way back in the day, like fifth grade for me, I had a teacher that every Friday afternoon was sing along. So he played all Beatles songs and we'd sing along to him.
That's awesome.
He knew some of us boys that just wanted to, play sports and not read. He took the song by Billy Joel, "We Didn't Start the
Uh-huh.
Fire," right? Am I
Yeah,
correct?
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Um, and the lyrics of it, there's so many different what do you want to call it, titles, like Mickey Mantle, Kerouac, Sputnik,
Uh-huh,
Joe and
uh-huh.
I. So it was like, all right, do a book, like a report on that, like a book report.
On that
So
song.
we were getting lyrics, yeah,
Awesome.
of, so like, hey, I did it on Mickey Mantle.
Uh-huh.
Obviously I was already into baseball, but like I used lyrics in a song to write a book report and I was interested in it. So it was kind of a nice
That is
tie-in,
really cool.
with music and lyrics and school.
Really cool
you
teacher.
know, um, yes, before he passed away a couple years back, him and I actually had a beer and we had a good conversation,
Oh my goodness.
which was
Did
awesome.
you ever tell
Um,
him about how that project kind of was cool to you? Like, did he know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he actually had a VW
Oh my
bus,
God, he was so
and every
cool.
year, yeah, every year he would allow us kids or the fifth graders to paint it.
What?
So we painted it, and yeah, we we'd get to paint this bus, and it was just a bunch of flowers and different colors,
That's
and yeah, it was great.
awesome. That's awesome. What a cool dude.
Yeah, he was. But yeah, it definitely has moved into, you know, to me, to now my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
where music is definitely going to be up front,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I feel like there's some kind of calmingness to it,
There
you know.
is.
Even though when we're at a show, there's different
Of course,
levels,
there is. There's songs that can get you pumped. There's songs that can, I mean, whatever you
Right.
need, music can do that for you
Oh yeah,
if you allow
it's
it to.
supposed to sway. Right,
So tell
for
me
sure.
a couple of things behind you have caught my eyes. So it looks like you have a guitar behind you, and then something that says Alpine, and then some famous glasses back there. Tell me what's going on behind you. Share your stuff with us.
All right. Well, the guitar here, um, I actually won it in one of the concert or contests that a gentleman posted, um, where you had to pay, say, 25 bucks or something to get a line, and you know there'd be 20, 30 lines available, and then once the contest was full, he'd pick a number.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I won, and it has Dave Matthews signature on it,
It's amazing.
and yeah, just adding it to the collection, even though I don't play too much anymore. And the backpack back here, it says Alpine Al, the
Oh
license plate,
yeah.
and that's actually from. Um, I was talking earlier about the Alpine group that we have, in the ADA section, and one of the groups there, Alex Freeman, or no, Alex from Kansas,
From
um,
Kansas.
and his parents got me that one year.
Awesome.
So yeah, just really cool things that I've got over the years,
Yeah.
from Dave fans,
Absolutely.
and the sunglasses are the sunglasses.
Tell me how you came up with that idea.
You
Like
know,
what was going on in your head before you created the first pair, and then the first pair you were like, were they for you? What's the story behind the sunglasses?
you really want to get in this
I
on
really
this
do.
thing?
I think that most people that watch this are gonna, of course, they associate you with the sunglasses, and so I feel like that's the story that people want to know
Right.
is like, how in the world did this happen?
Yeah. So, I've been writing for a long time, and being in arts and crafts and different things like that. And so I have notebooks filled with just ideas of different things. And, um, with going to shows, I was like, this is great and all, but how can I lift that, like maximize your concert experience,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I came up with it in 2015, I believe. And I was just telling my cousin, like, what do you think of this idea? Whatever. Um, and so I just went with it and tried my first ones were the band members, I Heart
Okay.
Dave,
Yeah.
I Heart
Yeah.
Carter, and just that set alone. And it was a lot of fun because I put that out, and I didn't know I couldn't put it on certain pages,
Oh, because
DMV
selling or whatever. Yeah.
groups and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah. So I just threw it on one,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened to have a lot of people in it. And it got deleted.
Oh.
But that whole night, along with like the whole week, my messenger, I mean, I don't think I slept. And I was really against kind of putting it on like an Etsy or anything like
Sure.
that, even though I had it for a very short time on there.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk to the fans.
Absolutely.
You know, I, so that whole goal was to create this vision of you're wearing this pair of sunglasses that, you know, I Heart Dave or I Heart Carter, and the band member sees that, and you have that connection, and he gives you a drumstick, or Dave gives you a guitar pick, and you just lifted that concert experience to like the epic proportion, right?
Yes.
And while selling all these, I also told people to kind of like tag me on pictures
Yeah.
to kind of help the ball
Right.
roll, you know.
Right.
And I started getting all these pictures. And if you go on to like the DMB Summer Tour highlight reel
Uh-huh.
of 2016, there's a picture that is my absolutely favorite picture of all time of sunglasses of this kid, this little boy wearing I Heart Carter's, giving knuckles to
Oh my
Carter while
gosh.
he's got two drumsticks in his hands.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, I'm getting
No,
goosebumps right
I
here
love
thinking about it because it was the idea that I thought could happen,
it.
you know, or you're tailgating and your group has them, and people come by and say, "Hey, those are pretty
Yeah.
cool," you know, and now you're creating this conversation with somebody that you would never meet
Right.
before, or you would have never met
Right.
before, and you could end up being best friends with the person,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know. Then I did songs, you know, where, hey, that's my favorite song too, you know, and it just kept, you know, like the ball just kept
At
rolling.
what point did people start
And
asking you to do particular words? Was it pretty quick? Like, hey, Al, could you get it to say
no,
this?
no,
No,
not at all.
no.
No. It was a while. Like at one point, you know, I got interviewed by a person, a writer, and just different things started to happen. Even our fellow vocal coach reached out, and we had a conversation that was pretty
That's
amazing, where I ended up
awesome.
making special ones for him and his
Oh
group.
my gosh. That's
Um,
amazing.
so that was cool because when you got a guy like that that says call me, and
Yes.
I'm going, this is little old me here. I
Yeah.
mean, I just came up with an idea and people actually liked it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
So I mean, and one of the great things about it is when I do go to a show and I see them, um, it it hits
I
home.
bet.
Like it's pretty amazing. Sometimes I goof around with people, you know. Oh, those are pretty cool. Where'd you get them?
Oh.
Because not everybody has met me,
True, and they
you
didn't
know.
they didn't all get them from you. It could have been a gift or like a group thing, like you said, and
Right,
so they don't
right.
know. What do they
Yeah.
say? What's been the
I
most
mean,
interesting answer?
oh, you know, to be honest, most of them actually are pretty happy.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, oh man, I got this from this guy. And then I'm like, yeah, that's me. You know, um, yeah,
I don't
that
even know that I would believe you. I
it's
would
been
just be like, no, no, you're not.
right, exactly. You know, I mean, because who's to say that person could have been like from Arkansas driving up to Deer
You never
Creek? Like,
know.
you never know. But I've had some good conversations. Some people know. Some people may have done a little clicking on Facebook on my profile or
Uh-huh,
something
uh-huh.
and saw a picture and then remembered it,
Well,
you
I
know.
definitely try to tag
But
you and a lot of pictures because that's one of the things that people always talk about. Just like you said, is if you post a picture with your
mhm,
glasses on, people are drawn to them because they are so personal. They're useful, right? And they're just fun. But then when you do wear them to a concert, just to see a crowd of people all wearing them really is it's really
right.
special, and I'd love to see that picture of the little kid. You'll have to send that to me with the
Yeah,
Carter glasses handing the sticks.
yeah, for sure.
I would love to hear his story, right? Like, what a night for him.
Right. Well, I
What a
know the
night.
family. I mean, not like personally, but I know who it is,
Oh, awesome.
which is pretty cool.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that is even cooler.
Right. I mean, but there is a lot of people that'll take the picture. Hey, here's my drumstick with the, I Heart DMB or, whatever their sunglasses say,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it has gone to a level like I've never experienced before of a group of people,
Yeah.
um, like best friends, because from that alone to going to night zeros or a tailgate pre-tailgates at different places. Long time ago, we used to do a Deer Creek where a contest thing where people would just donate a bunch of different things they've made, and then just have kind of raffles and different things like that.
Yeah.
I've set out all my sunglasses on a table while a band plays, some of our fellow DMBers that play music,
Yeah.
are there. And the coolest part though, that hits home for me is that that whole group not only included me, they included my cousin too.
Oh,
Um, because not all the time that he can go every place that, they can.
sure.
I mean, I try a lot. Whatever we can do, we try.
Absolutely.
We're still trying to get to the gorge for him. I mean, I've been fortunate enough where I didn't even know what the gorge was back in like
I didn't
2003.
either.
Um, and I went for like 15 years straight. But I didn't know. I went for the
Sure.
party yeah, Dave was playing, but we had a boat and we went on the river
Mm-hmm.
and, because my friends lived out
Oh,
there.
even better.
So, yeah. So, but it has been amazing because some, like, my Des Moines, Iowa friends, TJ and Jess, TJ was my wedding officiant.
Oh my goodness.
He married my wife and
That's
I.
awesome.
Um, and to have him there and then what he said, was amazing. It was pretty cool. And
Well, what did he
you
say?
can't
You can't
ask.
say that without telling us what he said. What did he say?
I don't have it all. It's like several
Ah,
pages.
it was something that he
You know.
wrote. Okay, okay, gotcha. Just like, I don't know what he
Yeah, yeah,
said.
yeah. But it goes back to like the experiences with all these people, and then hey, we're going to Farm Aid at Alpine this year, and we stayed in this big house, and there's like 15 of us in there from all over the U.S.
Hmm.
And the weird stuff we did that night, like, I mean, I'm just gonna say we created a bobsled race when there wasn't snow in the living
Why
room.
not?
Exactly. It was just so amazing on the randomness that we all created that it made for some of the best times of our
And
lives,
these will
I
be the
mean,
stories. I always like to joke. These will be the stories that we tell that when we're in the nursing home, right? Like these are the times that we're going to be talking about. So I'm glad you've got some really fun stories for later, right? You're going to be the grandpa that was like,
yeah,
I
right.
bobsledded down a set of stairs. And
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, it was a team bobsled. I think we each had, 5, 6 people behind,
That's
and
awesome.
we had a blast.
Yes.
I, yeah,
That's awesome.
it makes for great experiences. And I mean, I wish I could see all those people so much more. And then we go back to life, those bills still come.
Yes, I mean, I would love
But
to say that Dave is life, but it's like the cherry on top, right? Like it's
Mhm.
just the cherry on top. Everything else before Dave Matthews
Oh,
is super important, but we won't have them forever. That we know,
yeah.
and so
We have
we have now, and
we have the music.
what we do, we will always have the
We
music.
want
We will always have the
music.
music. That's right, and
And the cool thing about the music is like I would have never got a tattoo unless I designed it myself. It took me 37 years to figure out what I finally thought was good enough to put on my body.
I got mine at 38,
You
so
know?
I totally understand.
But along with a guitar and and nature became lyrics. I mean, the branches of the tree are my lyrics. You know, the way they move. And my lyrics were "Celebrate We Will" and "If you give, you begin to live." Like those things, which I think we can all take parts of each song and live by it.
Absolutely.
I think it's something to be said, like when people say, "Why do you go, so often?" We're either chasing songs or trying to find that rarity, like that rare one that we could hit, and but also the people, obviously.
Absolutely. That's literally what this podcast is about, is the people around the Dave Matthews Band. So I always like to repeat that, when I started this idea for this podcast, it was always going to be about the people. It was never going to be particularly about the band, and it was never going to be because I wanted to meet the band. I would be terrified to meet them. But where I think the interesting story is around the band is the family that comes time after time to see them, or has never seen them live but has been hanging on to their music for years because it's given them whatever they needed, whether that was peace or love or freedom or whatever they were needing. I feel like this music has given to people all in different ways, and then brought this community of people together who, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. And my background, I have a huge church background, which I say that to just compare like getting together with people and the like-mindedness, of groups of people, but never, and I say this cautiously, but never in my life have I been experienced to groups of people who are more genuinely interested in me and the band and what it does for me than in anything else. And that's the stories that I love to tell is your story and everyone else's story, because everyone has such a different story, but it's like how we came to this common ground of the Dave Matthews Band. And so isn't it it's wild?
Amazing, right?
It's just wild. And
Right.
Not a lot of people get that story. If you're not a fan and you hear me talk, you think, this bitch is crazy, right? But no, when I talk to people who get it, it makes me feel like, oh, I'm not crazy, right? This is real. This
Right.
is real. And
Yeah.
it's really happening.
Right.
And I'm just so thrilled to be alive at the same time as all of this. So I'm so thankful that you volunteered to be. Actually, you didn't volunteer. I was like, hey, Al, will you please be on my podcast? But thank you for being willing to do that. I know that it can be scary to have a voice sometimes, but I think that having a voice can be such a huge platform for topics such as making sure that our venues stay ADA compliant. I think that's there's so many things around the band that's not particularly about the band that our family have to really look into. So thank you for just shedding a light on that. I know that there are a lot of people that impacts, and so thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for like killing it with the sunglasses. Like it just I know it's got to keep getting bigger and bigger from year to year, because it's just word of mouth, and then of course during tour season, I mean they're even in they've made professional photos from the band. I mean, you are out there, and so congratulations on just taking a small idea, something that you thought was going to make you happy, And it really rolled into making so many other people happy. So kudos to you. Good
Right.
job.
Thank, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, the only goal I'd have left in that would if I could at some point round up everybody in the pit and just have them all wear
Right.
them. So it would be because that vision was always like, hey, what is the band looking at? They're looking at all of us, right?
Yes.
But they can't see people way far back if
No.
it's darker back there, but
Sure.
they can see because of the lights, right?
Yes.
And I thought, man, if that could be just lit up with all different colors and different, just I want to know what they're thinking.
Well, maybe that one day,
You know,
that's going to happen one day. Al, thank you so much for being on this episode of season 2. We're so thankful, and we definitely hope and plan to see you this tour. So we'll be at Deer Creek for sure. So we'll connect there. But in the meantime, I will definitely send you my order for my 2023 glasses. What does someone need to do that's maybe watching this for the first time or listening to this for the first time and are familiar with your glasses? How can one go about ordering their own glasses?
Well, the easiest way is just on Facebook, search me out, Al Henschel, and just message me because I enjoy having that conversation with somebody. You know, whether they like a certain song or a certain venue. So, yeah, definitely contact me. My profile pic is usually of my daughter.
No shame in that. I love that. So if someone out there is listening to this episode and again they really did hear and resonate with some of the conversations you spoke about different venues and their ADA compliance and the groups that are formed, which I would never have, I just didn't think about it. I guess I would have guessed there's probably a group on Facebook for everything specifically. So if someone's interested in knowing more about your group, can they message you just to say, hey, I'd really like to be part of this? Or, I mean, is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
You know, I also have the other group would be DMB Sunglasses Tour.
Yes, okay.
So you can reach out to me there
if you're not
comfortable reaching out to me personally.
Right. So that's like a page versus personal messaging.
Yeah.
So either way, you'll get a hold of Al and you'll have to order ahead for your group. For your, you can get very specific now. Are you still doing, you can get whatever you want, or do you have stock of glasses?
I have so many back here, but I'm doing some different ones that are kind of two-toned.
Yes, I love those. I love the pink and white.
So
those are awesome.
that was something new, and I'd be chasing this song. So
What does it say? Drunken Soldier. Okay, I could barely see. Yes, I love it. And you know what? I've seen a lot of sunglasses out there. Do I remember what all of them say? No, but I don't think I've ever seen a Drunken Soldier one. Well, Al, thank you so much. I hope that a lot of people reach out to you, whether that's about sunglasses or different venues and their disability access. So thank you again for coming. Guys, stay tuned next week where we'll have a whole nother guest on with different topics. So thanks so much, Al. I will see everyone later. Peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.